Back in November, I was pulled over for not registering my vehicle. I wanted to challenge it, and the purpose of challenging it is the government has a tendency to nickel and dime people and to raise revenue in various different ways, and registration is just one of them. And the only way to really stop them is to make it difficult for them to enforce their own regulations. That's basically what I'm attempting to do, increase their costs of enforcement. I don't plan to pay any fines. I don't plan to pay any court costs if they...
That's what they're used to, right? They're used to people
just
doing
just
whatever.
paying up.
So this morning, approximately 10 area activists have arrived to show support.
There's a new term. You're giving them affidavits. Did you come up with that one? You're going to pile them with paperwork.
I'm not piling them. Am I entitled to a fair trial free of conflicts of interest? Who does the prosecutor and the police represent? Who do you, the judge, represent? And after that...
Oh, that's kind of fun because, yeah, they're all on the same team.
And who's the plaintiff? Who's the plaintiff?
Yeah, because the plaintiff is going to be like the police department.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because there's no victim.
And the judges, who's he representing?
That might be
This town.
I'd love to hear his creative answer.
Might be a good question to ask him. Who is the victim?
The state. And who do you work for?
Is there a victim?
You haven't hurt anybody?
No. And you know, if I had, there'd be a whole different situation.
Sure.
That's not civil disobedience. That's assault, or that's fraud, or something like that. Civil disobedience is, by nature, you cannot hurt people. This is a nonviolent, peaceful thing.
It'd be best if we were all tied together so they realize, oh, there's another one that's not going to pay.
I don't live for the benefit of the government. I'm not their personal piggy bank.
I was talking about this group of
The only
people.
person I think talks
I think
with
it's a
is
church
Ian.
group that resists.
Oh, Embassy of Heaven?
Embassy, is it?
Yeah, out in Oregon.
And how
yeah.
they identify themselves as Embassy of Heaven, and when they see that, they've gotten to the point where they just don't even want to mess.
Well, they get really
It's not even
complicated because
Now,
they'll
they
say,
got
I can't
.org,
talk
and it's
without the permission of the
Church.
church. I can't do any paperwork until they tell me, you know, and that pretty much stonewalls it.
I heard it's a good
Right.
resource. You were telling me it's a good resource. You are, Ian.
My goal is to make enforcement difficult. It is to encourage the police, the front line of the enforcement agency, to just ignore me. Any time an act of civil disobedience is done, the government has a choice. They can arrest you or ignore you. This is an act of civil disobedience, and I made it very clear. He did pronounce me guilty and said there was a suspended sentence or a fine.
He fined you, but then suspended it
Yeah.
if you
For
don't
90
get busted
days,
for felonies or
yeah, as long as I
misdemeanors.
don't commit a felony or misdemeanor. I suppose in theory that would nullify as soon as I drive home tonight. But that'll be another day.
I think what it came down to is the judge heard the beginnings of those questions he was saying, and was saying that's something for appeal if you feel it's necessary, and then he basically created a situation where an appeal wouldn't be necessary. Because he didn't want him asking that question. But the question he was going to ask was, am I entitled to a fair trial? Yes or no? Presumably yes is the answer. Yes. And then you say, well, am I able to have a fair trial if there's a conflict of interest? No, you cannot have a fair trial if there's a conflict of interest. Who does the judge represent? The state, or maybe the local government? Who is the plaintiff? Yeah, my accuser, and yes, that's also the state or the local government, and that's obviously a conflict of interest. Basically, my enemy is the one who is in complete control over whether or not how this trial goes, and that becomes apparent when you ask those questions. They don't want to draw attention to that fact.
Looked like the judge was just like, oh, you people, get out of here. Just go and get.